I'm trying to remember. Oh, whatever. Alright, we're good. We're going, we're live.
Welcome back, bitches!
Oh, it's been a while.
It's been a while since we've uploaded a Nothing Cast, but I'll eventually get around to
Yeah,
that.
we're like 10 short. I can edit. I can help
But
edit.
see, my plan was to edit all the vlogs and do like one of those every week, and then start doing Nothing
vlogs
Cast
take
every
so
week.
long to
But the
edit.
vlogs take forever to edit, and also I've been lazy.
And also, you haven't really uploaded them on YouTube, so it's not like...
Well, they're uploaded, but they're secret.
Oh, you should show them to... Oh, we should show those to Katie.
They're so long.
No, the 30-minute one.
Yeah, but it's still long.
It's funny,
Still
though.
30
It's
minutes.
really funny, though. I think she'll like it. She'll think it's funny.
It's so dumb, though.
Yeah, I know. She's our entire audience. Hi, Katie. We love you.
We love you, Katie. So today's Halloween day,
Halloween, yeah.
Halloween night, and we're talking finger strings.
We're talking about finger strings.
Finger strings 2.
Finger strings 2. So I watched the first 2 episodes like a couple days ago, and then I watched the rest today. So
Yeah.
I guess I watched 7 episodes today.
I watched most of it the Sunday after it came out, which was right after work weekend. So.
Oh, okay.
That's when I watched. That's when I finished.
Oh.
It was that day. I watched, and so yeah, so yeah. What did you think?
I thought it was good, but it wasn't quite as tight as Stranger Things Season 1. Stranger Things Season 1 was really tight, and this one had a lot more characters.
Yeah.
And a lot more going on, so it's harder to develop everything when you do have a lot more going on. Unless you have like 6 seasons, which is why Game of Thrones is great, because they give the perfect amount of like, where it's like, oh, you gotta, like everyone's story isn't actually that long when you think about it.
No,
If you take one character, you can explain what they do in about 5 minutes, but because it's stretched out so long, they can add so much more development to it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, for sure.
But because this is definitely like a shorter series, it's harder to have. It definitely resembles more like an extended movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I see this series, like the first 2
It's
seasons.
almost like the short film of television.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I have an idea for a TV... miniseries, yeah, I guess so. Where it's like, yeah, but it's like, I have this idea for a TV show, but like, I can't get it. Like, it wouldn't... It's kind of like a movie idea, but like, it would be too long for a movie, but too short to be a TV show. So then...
To be like a network show.
To be like a network show, yeah.
Yeah, like I think the 8 episodes thing is the perfect length.
Yeah, but this season could have almost used another episode from everything that they were...
I don't think so. I think it was...
You think it was pretty tight?
I think it was... To be honest, I think it was perfect because it felt like the same length as last season, where it's just like, oh, we didn't need 8 episodes, but we really want to do this 11 standalone episode that's going to be really cool, so we need 1 more episode. And then they're like, okay, we'll do 9.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that is that in the first episode, the very first thing they show is this like crime gang, and then you're like, oh shit, she's got an 8 on her wrist, and you're like, whoa, that's so cool. And then the main story kind of starts, and then like, okay, I want to see where this goes, right? And then you don't hear about them for like 6 episodes. So then I'm just like, what the hell, like. Why would you set that up?
Wait.
Like, and not pay it off at all? Like, you basically lied to me. Like,
yeah, it's
because the first scene should be really important.
Yeah, typically you want
TV series.
Like you do want to hook us right away.
The first scene in Stranger Things
is the first scene,
Dungeons and Dragons. They're playing D&D, and then Will goes missing.
And then Will goes missing right away.
And you're just like, oh man, I'm in.
And that's the main conflict of the season.
But this isn't the main conflict of the season. It's like setting up a side quest for later. It's literally just like, oh, I need to establish this so that we can have a side quest later. Yeah,
for sure. So it is a little frustrating. Yeah. But I also, I still think it's the coolest idea in this whole season. Because it's, like, so obvious, too. It's like, well, she's number 11.
Yeah, so there should be
what were the first 10, right?
Yeah. There's only 8, so now we only know 2. Right?
Yeah, and, like, maybe, like, the rest died from experiments or something, but, like, we know that there were other people, so, like, maybe there's more out there still.
Oh, that's what the scare should have been.
And that's what the
scare should have been. It's just, like, it zooms out of the school or whatever, and then it's just, like, you just see some guy sitting in a car with binoculars. It's like, He's like, "Oh, I found you," and then you just see like a 2 on his wrist, and he's trying to assemble them to be like the Avengers. I don't know, just something. He's trying to. They can all do different things. Like
because she has different powers. Like
they all have different powers, right?
So
like at first I'm like, oh wait, like because at first like you're like, oh, she just blew up that thing. That means that she can blow stuff up, and then you realize the cop like it wasn't blown up, and then you just imagine. So it's like, wait, she can make people see things.
Mm-hmm.
So. And like they show like basically the full potential of that power within like one episode.
Yeah,
which was really cool. That was a really
all the different.
I love that. I love that episode.
Yeah, I thought it was like
that was a really.
That's probably my favorite episode of this season because it's like it's so different and it's like it works all about 11. He's one of the strongest characters, if not the strongest character.
Mm-hmm.
And like it actually expands the universe where like everything else that's happening is kind of more of the same stuff from season 1, but like a variation on it.
It's almost like the Age of Ultron thing where it's like, all right, so the second last episode, all the characters have to meet up and they have to build something together through a montage.
yeah. Okay, we gotta. What was the end of the?
They make the.
Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna make this
together.
See, that's another interesting thing that's different about this season is it's less science sci-fi.
Mm.
Like there's more science fiction in the first season, and that played into the main kids, like their strengths, and also like the teacher as well. Like how he ended up being important because he like taught them about science, and so like that's why they needed like his help on certain things and stuff too.
No, it was a great setup where he's like he was basically a nerd growing up, so he like totally empathizes with these nerd kids who just like playing with radio equipment.
Mm-hmm. And
like how nerdy is that? Like
like that's was such a like cool and like real relationship with like this teacher who's like, oh, these kids like actually are interested in science. Let me do all that I can to like help them learn and help them grow and stuff. And like he was barely in this season, which is okay, I guess, but that's because there's like they added a bunch of other characters, so like there's so much else
Bob,
going
he's
on.
a nerd now.
And there's like a bunch of other stuff going on, so I get why like this minor character takes a backseat.
Okay, think about this, Dan. Think about this.
Yeah,
Stranger Things season 2, everything is basically the same, but Bob's not there. Replace him with Mr. Clark.
Just put him. Yeah, but he dies at the end too.
Yeah. How much would that hurt you? Would have hurt your heart? Like,
oh, yeah,
exactly.
That would have been way worse.
Exactly, and he doesn't have to be dating Joyce necessarily.
But just put him in the role.
Just put him in the role of
like, okay, there's this weird map thing.
Yeah. And he figures it out, and then he's like, "Oh, do you know programming? I know how to do that." Like,
yeah.
And to have him die.
Oh man. Yeah, that would.
How much does your heart hurt?
That would have hurt. Yeah. Because like it was.
Because you love him so much. He's just a nice teacher who's trying to.
Yeah, like
what's right.
He's just a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have sucked. That would have been way better.
Exactly. Nice opportunity.
Good try, Duff Brothers.
Good try. We're the Duff Brothers, so we're better than you.
We know what's up.
We're a little tighter because we're 2 letters less and one syllable less. So it just means that we're tighter because
we don't waste any time.
When it comes to storytelling, less is more.
Right.
So eat it.
Fuck you, Duff Brothers. You know what? Fuck you. Your show sucks.
No, I'm not.
We're way better than you.
I'm saying like season 1 more. Probably.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I really liked about season 1, and I wish they did differently with this season, is season 1 was very original. Even though it's a ripoff of like everything from the 80s, it's like everything with like the Demogorgon and the Upside Down. And like that kind of stuff is like stuff we haven't ever seen before, and it felt very, very unique and very original.
This season's like, what's that?
This season is
the Upside Down. We did that again, but it's tunnels this time.
But now there's tunnels.
Demogorgon, you like that? Well, now there's a bunch of dogs.
Well, now it's the Alien 3 version of the Demogorgon.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. So in Alien 3, the alien latches on the face hugger latches onto a dog.
And there's a dog.
And then there's like a more dog-like xenomorph that runs around on 4 legs. And it's like...
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's just one of them.
Yeah, and there is just one of them in that one. So it was like... But and then this one they also did Aliens, where they're like, okay... It's the, get
this. You know
it's the Demogorgon,
the thing
but
that
now
there's
more than one.
There's more, but they're easier to kill, so you don't care as much. You're not as emotionally attached.
They're not as scary though, because they're a little smaller, and stuff. You know, in the first season, that was like
Demogorgon was like 9 feet tall.
Yeah, it was really big and scary looking, and but also like. It was like practical, like it was like about 50-50 practical CGI.
Really?
A lot of the time it's a guy in a suit.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then like for some shots it was just like it wouldn't work, so they had to do them in like CGI.
This one is just like
they're fully CG.
They're fully CG.
Because they actually have a
except
CG
for the part where they pick up the they have the
they
put the corpse.
That's true. There is a couple parts where there is like some practical element, but like for the most part they're CG.
No, and there's just something about practical effects where it's like that's real and that's there.
But I did think that the CG looked pretty good for like
it absolutely did.
TV show. And
it wasn't really a flaw in my head. I just didn't like the idea of there being more of them. I never thought for a second that CG looked so fake.
No.
The CG was amazing. I just don't like the idea of there being more. That doesn't
a conceptual perspective. It's not as scary as the one like how do you even fight this thing that's like not even there half the time and like
basically shows up whenever it wants to.
Yeah, and also like how
it's also unkillable. Is also
I feel like. And we also see them a lot more. Like, you barely see the Demogorgon, and when you do, it kills someone. So, like...
Or, like, kidnaps you.
Yeah. So it was, like, way scarier. It's the Jaws thing, where, like, you don't see it as often, so...
No, that's just the horror movie thing, where if you don't see it as often, it's a lot scarier. Because it's almost like an unknown, right? So you don't see Jaws, and, like you don't see most... Like, the shark's eyes, or, like 90% of the shark's body, until... the third act until they're on the boat in the water.
Yeah. And that's why it's like it's effective.
I haven't seen Jaws in like a long time. I saw it like a few months ago. Yeah. And I totally forgot like a lot of it.
Right.
And like about an hour of the movie is that just 3 guys on a boat.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Like it's super well done.
There's only one good shark movie, and it's Jaws, and it's a good movie because it has great characters.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing that I do remember about the movie, is the characters were really strong.
Yeah.
And I really liked them.
No, and that's what Stranger Things is really good also because of the characters. It's not really good because they had a lot of dogs with five lips on their mouth.
And that's another thing, too. Like, from what I remember of the Demogorgon in the first season, is the way that its, like, mouth face worked. Like, it was almost like the different lips like didn't quite line up properly. Like they were a little overlapping.
Yeah.
Like it almost like it was just too scary. Like it was just too like unnatural of a creature even for itself.
Yeah.
Like
no, that's
true.
Where
in the second season, like they just look like cone faces, and then when they
peel open like flowers with spikes.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I guess that's kind of scary. But in the first one, it was like it was so like unnatural and like weird that it even for itself its biology didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like that's and I thought and it was pretty cool.
You know what I thought was kind of dumb? You know the part when they go into the tunnels?
Yeah.
And then Dustin's like, hey, oh no, there's the one Demogorgon dog that I raised.
Yeah.
That should have been the moment where Dustin killed him.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
That should have been like where it's like, I'm sorry, I know, like he's like, hey, like, and then it's like he like tries to comment, but it doesn't work. Like he even pulls up the nougat and stuff.
Yeah, and it doesn't care anymore.
Doesn't even care. And then he takes the bat out of Steve's bag.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
And then he's like, and then it starts charging at, and then like as it starts to charge at them, like,
even though
like Steve like almost grabs the bat, and then Dustin's just like, wait, no, guys, don't move. Like as it's charging towards them, and then Dustin grabs the bat and just beats the shit out of it, and it's like crying the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then they're like, it's okay, man. And then they go.
Even if he didn't like,
that would have been a great moment.
Even if he didn't like fully kill it, but like knocked it away and like allowed them to escape, that would have been good enough. Because it the whole time when he found the slug thing, and I was like, it's gonna turn into like a huge monster.
Yeah.
And you're an idiot for keeping it.
Yeah.
And then like the point where like
Mike's like, kill it. I'm like, yes, Mike, do that.
Yeah, do that.
I'm on board with you.
And the point where like he gets, it's like in his he has it he after like they lose it, and then he takes it. And he's like, oh, I don't know where it went, guys. It's just... And he puts it under his hat. It's like, no, you idiot.
Yeah.
And then, like, he brings it home. He's like, okay, Dart, just stay here. I'm going to go to school. I'm like, he's gonna come back, and it's going to be gone. And then...
he kills his cat.
And it's like, yeah, what I tell you, you dumb kid. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I guess this one, the Stranger Things to it a lot more of, like, dumb horror movie things where it's like you're just stupid, just stop.
Yeah, and it's frustrating a little because like
it's like oh, I thought he was my friend. It's like you have friends. you have real friends.
It's like that
aren't weird creatures.
I wanted to impress
weird aliens.
I wanted to impress the girl. It's like why would any girl like that?
Yeah.
Why would any girl like some weird slug creature?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of. It was just because it's like after the first season, like they should know about like, oh yeah, don't trust any fucking weird alien-looking monsters that you come across. Like kill those instantly because they're probably evil, and like because they know like this kind of stuff exists, so like they should do something about it when they come across it. You know.
I did think that the new love triangle with Max was actually handled like. Very original as far as triangles go.
No, that one was good actually.
I really liked that one, how it played out.
It felt like just kind of like, oh, there's a new girl who seems pretty cool because she like skateboards and is good at video games. So like instantly they both kind of like her.
Yeah.
But then like because what's the black kid's name?
Lucas.
Because Lucas actually like spends time with her, like they kind of
bond.
They kind of bond and end up like liking each other.
Yeah.
Which is like that just felt like a natural progression because like they hung out a bunch.
Yeah. And like Dustin being like, it's cool, like you do whatever, like that felt like a natural progression also, and like the fact that like he's still like kind of not over her, but like tries to move on and stuff. That's like it's all like that was like really well handled.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a good, like it just felt like a really like good organic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, and usually, like, and that's what I mean is, like, most of the stuff with the kids is great.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the Dart thing, like, bothered me, because it's like, why are you being dumb this one time?
Yeah.
It's
like, it did lead to a great team up, though. Or...
Oh, yeah, with him and Steve. Yes, exactly. Because then once Steve
starts, like, mentoring him.
Yeah, because then once he realizes, oh, this thing is evil, I should probably, like, do something about it. That's when it's like, all right, now I'm on board.
Yeah.
You know, it just, it's like the in one of Doug Walker's Korra vlogs, he talked about how in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it feels like there's kid characters, but they act like adults.
Yeah,
and that's why the characters are so strong. But in Korra, there's like adult characters, but they kind of act like kids because they're like dumb. Because they like do dumb things a lot.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why like Stranger Things is good because like the kid characters are usually the ones solving the major problems.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like, I think the first one was a little tighter because it's like, all right, all this stuff is so messed up, no one's gonna believe us.
Yeah.
Like we're basically on our own, and it's about. There's three groups of people that all think that.
Yeah, and that's kind of...
and then it's so cool, and they meet up, and they finally start, like, piecing together the puzzle and stuff. This one is like, guys, check out this weird alien thing, and they're all on board with it. I feel like there's less isolation with that.
Yeah, well, there should be, though. It's like, they should be like, right away, hey, guys, check out this weird alien thing, and then, And then Mike goes, we should probably kill that. And then they go, yeah, you're probably right. And then they kill it. And then they go, hey, Nancy, we found this weird slug thing. And she's like, well, that's weird. I'm glad you killed that right away. Can you help me take down the government? This terrible government organization? Oh, yeah, sure, we can help that. Will's already goes there like every other week, so like we can get you in. And then they go with the detective and what's her name, and then they all like take down
Joyce,
and then they all take down the government, and it's like, and then they're like, oh, now 11 doesn't need to hide from them anymore, so so we can just close up the gate. Oh, the season. Oh, we did it. We solved all the problems of the season by working together, like we did at the end of the last season. But this time we did it by episode 3 because we knew to do that. Oh, what's that? You're missing a sister? Okay, let's go find her.
Road trip.
Like,
yeah, that's the thing. So you're saying this season's problems were about on the same level as last season's problems and could have been solved.
Yeah, like if they
through cooperation. I
think for the most part,
yeah.
I do really like this season.
Yeah.
But I felt that
it's definitely more flawed than
it's a little more flawed and it's not as tight, and if the characters actually like stepped back for a second and like learned about and like thought about like what was happening, like oh wait, this is just like last year when this thing happened. Okay, what did we do last year to solve it? Oh, we all worked together. Let's do that right away. Then it would have, like, and like, there is like other things in this season that I understand like why some of those things didn't happen. Like for the most part, there is good reasons for why the characters can't work together all the time. Like they go to Will's house, but he's not there because he's at the government place, and like they don't know where Nancy and Jonathan are because they like fucked off for a couple episodes, and like there's things like that. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like with this, stupidity doesn't need to be an obstacle for the characters. That you can you can have intelligent characters that face obstacles.
Exactly. Like that could have been
I feel like in No Country for Old Men, that's a great example of where you have characters who always do the smartest thing possible in every scenario, but still face conflict. Like
because both of them.
There's like a rule of storytelling where you have to make everything as hard as possible every step of the way.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way that the writers did it for this season was to make characters not do or say certain things that they should have.
Yeah.
And that's not the right. That's not exactly the correct way of writing. Well, in my opinion, like I just
and I get like why some of those things happen, because I think a lot of it is like, okay, they're thinking of it as an ensemble show and stuff like that, and so like one of the easiest ways to do that is to have the characters split off and do separate stories, and that would like work and stuff, and that does work for the most part, but like. Once they did work together, it took them like half an episode to solve everything.
Yeah.
So, like, they could have, if they just worked together, all of them like met up right away, it would have been over like that.
So fast. It took a couple episodes for them to make the entire maze, though. In Joyce's house.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, some things was them like piecing together puzzles of this mystery and like. What exactly is going on with like the upside down and like those kind of things, and so I'll give them that. But yeah, I just like I don't know. I still really liked it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm just like shitting all over this season, but I actually really enjoyed it. What are some good things about the show?
I don't know.
That show over.
Some really good camera work.
Yes. Okay. There's something. Yeah.
There was almost like some like Fincher level like character tracking in some shots.
Yeah, there's some really good tracks.
I try to remember I think there's like a part where Nancy like stands up out of a chair and like follows her and like.
Yeah.
That's like a Fincher thing if you've seen. It's like a Fincher thing to have like the camera perfectly follow your characters.
Yeah.
It just does something else.
Yeah, there's a great shot where, when they meet 8, when she meets 8, and the cops finally catch up to them.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wait, just be quiet for a sec.
And they're all standing
quiet,
still.
and they're standing still.
And the camera
moves past them, and then pans around, and they're gone. And it's all in one shot. And I don't even know how they did it because it just looked flawless.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is great. Mm-hmm. I love all the cuts. They do this thing in Stranger Things in both seasons where every scene will begin and end with a sound effect. Mm-hmm. And then that'll transition to the next scene.
And the sound effects will overlap. Usually.
Yeah, and sometimes typically they'll try to get one that like overlaps. Like one of the best examples, one of my like favorite and once you notice that, like you keep noticing it more and more.
I remember there's one where like toast is popping up.
Yeah, there's a great one where Hopper's in the cave vine thing, and there's like a vine like creeping up, and it goes like. And then it cuts to the syrup being squirted out, and then that whole scene takes place, and then it's great because Lucas leaves the room, but then the scene keeps going, and I'm like, oh, because they need a place to end the scene, they need a sound to end the scene on, and then she like puts the syrup down on the table and it makes like a, and then that's where they cut. It's so funny because like. They had to think of this. They're like, okay, what's the sound effect?
We're cutting on sound effects.
What's the sound effect we're going to end the scene with?
Yeah.
Which is, like, kind of brilliant.
There's this really cool, I think you probably noticed this, but you wouldn't notice it unless you were, like, consciously thinking, oh, wait, this is actually one really long shot. When, it's like in the first, it's in the second episode.
Yeah.
Jonathan and Nancy go to a party. Most of their time spent in that party is one long tracking shot.
Right, yeah.
Walking through the party, and then, like, her, like, oh, what's in this punch? And then he's like, it's pure fire, it's pure fuel, man.
It's pure fuel, man.
And then she, like, drinks it, and then Jonathan's like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, oh, I just want some pure fuel, right? You said we're pretending, let's do this, let's just
party,
man. And then drinking, and he's like, oh, you're an idiot. And then she, like, walks away, and then, wait, no, it's Steve, sorry.
Yeah,
so Steve's like, oh, you're dumb. And then the camera eventually moves over to Jonathan, who has entered this room now, and he sees them. And, like, it's just, it's really well done. It's a really good, it's a really well done tracking shot. I don't know if it cuts before or after Jonathan shows up, but it's just really well done. And it was super cool. Like, how do you even move a camera through that, like, room of people? Like, it was just really well done. Like,
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it's just a good shot. Like,
no, there's a lot of good shots. I like the one where Hopper first goes with the vines, and then the camera like spins upside down.
Yeah,
that one's pretty good. Mostly it's just like it's regular. It's shot like regular camera work, but like. They do it really well. Like it's just like it's framed well and it's executed well, and they know when to zoom in on a character and when to like.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. There was a lot of I don't know if it was weird. I just kind of started to notice it like near like kind of like the last 3 episodes. There was always like this point where it's like of like characters like looking at something. Like they had like a few shots of like 4 or more characters looking at something.
Right.
And I always felt like they picked like a random one to pan up to, unless the only time it didn't feel random. Like, cause like there's the one part where they're all like looking at the factory or like the lab, right?
Right.
And it's like, oh no, the power's out, and then like the camera moves to Jonathan. I don't know why Jonathan. The kids care about what's going on in there too.
Right.
Everyone else cares about what's going on. I don't know why the camera moved to Jonathan. But there's a part
maybe
where
it was just like his reaction shot was the best at that point. Or something.
And then there's a part where they're all like looking at watching it's like, oh, you kids, you have to stay here, and then they like move it on Dustin, I think.
Right.
Why Dustin? I don't know.
Right. Why
I don't know. And then, but then I'm pretty sure they do it like when 11 comes back, but they do it for Mike. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That would make
Thank you.
Sense. Yeah.
You convinced me. You convinced me. You know what you're doing.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons they did like have the characters like even more split up this season in last season was to do like the Empire Strikes Back thing.
Yeah.
Because like in the second act of a story, of like an epic, you want what I call like you break the fellowship.
Yeah.
And you want to split up all your characters and put them through lots of like trials and stuff like that.
For Game of Thrones, that's basically 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Because like everyone's finally back together at the end of the 6th season.
Yeah, it's like okay, now the characters are finally coming back together.
I argue that that's basically like that season 6 is kind of the first act of the third act.
Yeah. Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Part 1 of Act of Act 3.
Yeah. I'd say so. Because they finally are starting to regroup and be like, okay, how are we gonna fight this like huge threat that we have?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Well,
season 5 is definitely like the biggest empire, I would say.
Yeah, because a lot of things go wrong.
Everything kind of sucks.
And then by the end, it's just like sadness.
Yeah.
big cliffhanger and sadness.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big low point, and that's why I guess like that's why the next season is
winning
first act of
pretty much.
It's the first act of Return of the Jedi. Like they get Han Solo back.
Yeah.
Being Jon Snow in that one.
Yeah. Jon Snow.
They get Jon Solo.
I can already see the YouTube thumbnail for this. It's Jon Snow's face on Harrison Ford. He's sitting in the cantina and he's got a sword.
It's the classic him, like hanging out in the cantina, but he has Jon Snow's face. Did you see the? Maybe you didn't. I think it was an Honest trailer that was like pointing out how Jon Snow, like Kit Harington, has the same reaction.
Was it for the second Honest trailer for Game of Thrones? Like the seasons 4 through 6? Because I haven't seen that one yet.
I'm not sure.
I saw the season 1
I can't remember. It might
they have two. They have seasons 1 through 3 and they have 4 through 6.
It's possible that it was a different video that I saw, but I think it was an Honest trailer where they point out that his he just has the same reaction for everything that's happening.
Probably. Yeah.
And like it's one of those things that you can't really unsee. It's like the Barry bobblehead. It's bobblehead. But yeah, you just have that thing. But for some reason, I still really enjoy Jon Snow, and I still think that Kit Harington does a good job. Even though, it's like even after noticing that his reactions are mostly the same. What I was gonna say about Empire and stuff. Like, I think one of the decisions they were thinking to do that was like the hardest thing that what's his name, Mike could go through would be to not be with 11, right?
Yeah.
Because that was like his main thing for the first season, and so like that would be the hardest thing to put him through.
Yeah.
Which is true. And I guess that's why they wanted to do that for the season.
Yeah.
But it's also like they don't really focus on him that much.
No,
like,
he kind of takes a back seat this season. I wasn't really that much of a fan of.
Yeah, because he was a really big part of the first season, and that bond was such a because every time I was watching the first season,
Mike kind of feels
I was enjoying it, and Mike's basically the main character. I was enjoying all the different stories happening, but every time we cut to Joyce or we cut to Nancy, I'm like, okay, yeah, but let's get back to the kids because they have the most interesting story and they're the best characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I do think that it kind of was.
It just kind of lost you a little bit.
Well, it was kind of a little because it was it was
strange though.
It was like different. It was different. It was strange, right? Like it was
almost like if in Empire, instead of Luke going on his own to Dagobah system, it's like he takes
Leia there.
No. He takes
R2 there.
No. He takes a Wedge. Someone who's let's say he takes Wedge after they crash the snowspeeder. Wedge, let's get out of here. He takes Wedge. Wedge goes through the Jedi training,
and he's like R2 for that.
and then Wedge also has this weird alien thing in him that they have to try to get rid of. Basically Wedge is, and then Luke's just kind of there. he's not. He's just there. He doesn't do a lot. He just he hangs out on a rock. By just doing the whole like Yoda backpack thing, and Luke's okay, man, cool.
Wait, no. So like, by just doing the Jedi training, right?
Yeah.
And then like, Luke is like in his backpack, and then Yoda's in Luke's backpack.
That's what it is. It just feels weird to like completely like it's like it's like they set him up as the protagonist, and then this season they're like, nah,
he's not as important.
Nah.
I think they wanted to like expand on the other characters and make it more of an ensemble show, which I'm okay.
Yeah.
I do like the rest of the characters.
Yeah, but they didn't expand on
like
they were expanding on Mike in the first 2 episodes, and then they're like, nah. Yeah.
We got to focus on Will more, basically.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool in some aspects because he wasn't really a character in the first season, and then they're like, this season he's got to be a main character because he's actually not missing the whole season.
Yeah.
So like we have to do something. We have to
though.
do something interesting with him.
It's still like
he's still like
not himself.
Not himself. So like we still don't even really know what Will is normally like that much.
We know he likes the Clash.
We know he likes the Clash.
I feel like I kind of get the idea that he's just kind of like an introvert who's just like
like I get the idea. He'd prefer to draw than to like talk to people.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't he hangs out with his friends, but like he's the quiet one who doesn't.
Yeah, he's kind of
the same.
He's a little more like what's the word for like restrained, like tame? I don't know.
Reserved.
Reserved. Yeah, he's definitely more reserved. Because in the first scene in season 1, they're like, it's like Lucas is like, yo, do the fireball, and then Dustin's like, no, cast protection, like it's safer, it's safer, and then Luke's like, no, but if you do this now, like you can totally kill it.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but you gotta roll 13 or higher or you die, basically. So it's like a big risk, right? But he's got these two, basically, it's not even, at that point, it's not even Will's decision because he can be overpowered by other people's judgment more so than his own.
Yeah, exactly.
So it shows that
he's more kind of susceptible to like influence and stuff because like he's not as strong-willed independently, so like he gravitates towards like okay, I'll try to do whatever people want me to do so that they're nice to me. Like it's that kind of.
They could have expanded on that a lot, but they didn't really. They're just like, no, he's sick.
No, he's got an
he's
alien
sick. He's
virus.
not himself.
He's got a virus from another dimension.
Which isn't bad necessarily.
And I thought the kid did a great job acting for all that stuff.
Like all the kids are
great. And
like especially Millie Bobby Brown. She's definitely the best.
She's so good.
Yeah.
And that's like why I loved the 11 episodes so much because it's just her the whole episode.
I don't know who said this. It might have been Jeremy Jones or Chris Stuckman that said it's basically like an adult level performance coming from a child actor.
Yeah, she's great.
Which is so good.
She's phenomenal.
I think she's the oldest of the kids.
Yeah,
of the
I think she might be like a year older than.
Yeah, so she's like 14 or 15 right now, but like she still looks super young. So.
Yeah, so it totally
she's
fits.
An amazing actor for.
She's British too. Like, have you seen her in interviews and stuff?
Talk and stuff.
So is the guy who plays Jonathan. He's also British.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which like threw me off because like if after the Stranger Things, there's a
oh yeah, I want to watch that.
A behind the scenes series, which is pretty interesting.
So,
and
how long is it?
There's like 8 or 9 episodes, and they're like 20 minutes each.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it goes like they go quick because they're shorter. And it's just
I watched 9-hour-long episodes. So
and it's just like them having a conversation about the show, and it's still like really, and it's interesting too because like the Duff brothers are there, and so like they'll talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is the idea for this side thing that we did, and like stuff like that. And it's pretty cool, and they have like the cast there and stuff. Yeah. So I've seen most of those. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, I would recommend checking those out.
Yeah, you said Jim Rash.
Yeah, Jim Rash hosts it, so he like asks.
That's really
he's like basically interviewing them.
That's really cool.
And then the first one, he's like, yeah, so, Stranger Things is pretty good. Too bad I'm not in it. And he, like, looks at, like, the Duffer Brothers.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Shit, I had a thought, but I lost it. Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
I want her in more stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, also, like, they had to make her go off and do her own thing and be locked in Hopper's house for a while because, like, if she had helped them with stuff, like, she would have solved it instantly.
Yeah.
And then that would have been it.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
She's kind of a Deus Ex character at that point.
That's true. But she was this season, though. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Okay, let me get something straight here. Yeah. Is the Deus Ex Machina refers to, like, a story element that saves everyone, but it's, like, referring to something that straight out comes out of nowhere. Like, there's no setup for it prior or anything. Like, it's just, like, suddenly everyone's just saved. And that's like, kind of like the Eagles in Lord of the Rings, where it's like, yeah, they kind of mention them a few times, but then, like, they kind of save the day in the last
A better example is probably in Tron Legacy, because I recently rewatched it.
Right, Tron comes back, right? The guy named Tron.
He does.
And then, like, saves them at the end?
No.
Or is that what it is?
I'm just saying, like, the first, like, three kind of main fights in the movie. It's like the first one is like he's like doing the disc thing, right? And then the one guy, Clue, or whatever, he's like, "Oh, stop! Bring him to me!" Like right before he dies, kind of thing, right?
Right.
And then he's doing the light cycle thing, and then he's about to lose, and then one girl shows up in the car, and then they go to do the weird scene at the club, and then what's that? Everything's going to crap, and they're all dying, and someone else shows up. Jeff Bridges shows up and saves the day.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, where I think
it's not like
where I think it can work when it's something like
that they didn't.
The suspense is around. You know that character's coming to try to save them, and the suspense is around. Are they going to make it there in time?
Yeah, like Smallville.
Yeah, like Smallville, and like in One Punch Man does that quite a bit. Where, like, we know that One Punch Man can defeat any villain right away, but there's, like, all these other characters who aren't as powerful as him, and they're fighting, like, this guy.
And they can, like, lose. King? Like, the monster?
Yeah. And
that's
so
a great
episode. And so it's like, is he going to make it?
It's a couple episodes.
Like it's actually, like, they do that a couple times, I think.
That's like 2 episodes, I think. The one with the, like, big sea monster.
Yeah, like, I remember there's one where the bicycle guy is trying to fight something, and he's just a guy. Like he's a guy he's just a guy who can ride bikes.
That's one of my favorite moments in One Punch Man, when he's like you just want him to win so bad, you know he can't, but he's just trying his best because he's just a guy who's good at riding bikes. Like it's like it's brutal and heartbreaking, and then One Punch Man shows up. He's like, "You did good," and then he like punches him. Just destroys him.
That's a pretty great series as well.
I think that's like the way you do it. Like it's like because I remember
for like Superman and for like things.
I remember this series being pitched to me, and I'm like, that's kind of funny, but like wouldn't that be boring? And then you watch it, you're like, no, it's not, because he's super apathetic towards everything. It makes him such a good character.
Yeah, because he's so bored with. Like he doesn't hate it.
He barely passes the Superman test. He's the best.
Because he doesn't.
He's the best. Like physically, he's like the most powerful being in that universe.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't care. So he gets like 71 on like a test.
Yeah, he like barely passes.
He's like one of the lowest ranked heroes.
He like sucks at like English and like writing and
superhero based questions where it's like, who would you save in this scenario?
Right.
How do you put out a fire?
He's bad at the practical, like what's it called?
Theory.
The theory, yeah. He sucks at the theory, but he's good at the practical stuff.
He's not even good at he's good at the practical stuff, and he applies himself when he never does.
Yeah, well, he never needs to.
Yeah, there's the one, and like the things that like set him off are so funny. Like there's the one episode where he like realizes that like it's like grocery day or something.
Oh yeah, there's like a sale.
It's a sale and he's missing it.
And he's missing it because he thought it was Thursday, but it's actually like Friday or whatever.
Friday, yeah. It's like, that's today, and then he punches the monster.
Like, what?
No, it's so funny because he's getting like completely pinballed around like a huge room by this big monster.
Right.
who's just destroying him. Like he's just like punching, like giving this monster is giving everything he's got in One Punch Man. And as he's pinballing around the room, the only thing he can think about is, wait a minute. So if it was Thursday yesterday, and the sale's on Friday. Today is Friday. I'm missing the sale. And then he punches him, right?
It's kind of like
not even like he's angry towards him per se. He's just like channeling his rage.
It's kind of like in Deadpool when he's fighting the guys in the van and it flips, and then he's like, "Wait, shit! I think I left the stove."
No, but like that's what makes One Punch Man so much better than that scenario. That's just a joke. This is just like his only. This is the only motivation.
It's like the Szechuan sauce. It's like,
it's like
that's what this is all about, Morty. Yeah, I gotta get the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah. No, but I think that's an interesting thing. I don't know what we gotta come up with a name for that plot device where the overpowered character is motivated by really mundane things.
Well, I think it's. I don't know what you'd call that, but I think it's usually based around. They're so overpowered that to them, like, pretty much nothing matters.
Yeah.
And so, like, they find meaning in the most trivial of things because, like, it doesn't, like, they don't have anything stronger that they care about. Okay, so I had this one idea.
Yeah.
We mentioned that I really liked the 11 solo episode.
Yeah.
What are some other solo character episodes of shows that are really good?
Ooh, that's tough.
I mean, Zuko alone is an obvious one.
Yeah.
That one's great.
Oh, like ones that have happened?
Yeah, the other shows and stuff that have happened that are good.
They've never done any of those for Game of Thrones, have they?
No, the closest thing is, like, you'll get a big battle for an episode. Or for most of an episode, and that'll be focused around just a few main characters, but it's still like a huge battle. So, yeah, Game of Thrones. I don't know if they could afford to do that because there is so many characters, and it's like, we can't afford to waste an episode, right?
Well, can you give me more examples of
some? Yeah, like so the Zuko alone. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a episode with just what's her name, Gemma, on an alien planet.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah,
and like it's one where it's like that's season 3, right?
Yeah,
and it's one where it's like, okay, from season 1, I never would have wanted
this episode,
like an episode with just her. But then when you see it, it's like this is actually an amazing episode. I'm glad I saw it.
I remember telling you about that, and I'm just like, yo, dude, you've got to watch the next episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a really good episode of Castaway. And then you're like, and then you text me back, you're like, holy shit, that was a great episode of Castaway.
Yeah. In Avatar, they also do an Appa episode.
Yeah, that's a great episode. And that one, like, really ties the season together. Like, because it shows how well put together that season is. Mm-hmm. Season 2 of Avatar is just really well put together.
Yeah, it's so tight. It's probably one of the tightest seasons of television.
No, I think, in my opinion, it's the most tight season of television.
Definitely animated shows. Yeah. And definitely Avatar as well.
Is there an episode list on this somewhere?
I don't know, but I could probably... Because I saw it recently, I could probably tell you what most of the episodes are.
Yeah, so because it's just like it's like such a good like except for like
or I could look up
Avatar. If you want. It's like Avatar Day maybe.
Yeah, there's a couple fillerish ones,
but like even things like the Serpent's Pass, it's like they've used like the pregnant couples in their earlier episode.
Yeah, and the later episode,
not to steal from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah. And it's cool because like they were, and it expands the world like so much in that season. Like one of the cool things in that one is on the Avatar Day episode we meet the Rough Rhinos, who are these minor villains for the season. Where it's just like, they
just show up occasionally, and they all have like their own like thing that makes them unique.
Their own weapon that they use.
Yeah.
Like the one guy uses explosives, the one guy has like a spear, and like
that's like a flail.
Yeah, like that's their thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, later we see, like, Zuko and Iroh run into them, and they, like, have a fight.
Yeah.
And then later, when we're seeing Jet's backstory, we see that one of the Rough Rhinos is the guy that, like, burned down his village and, like, killed his parents. And it's like, that's a cool detail that, like, doesn't matter, but like it's cool that they thought of it. It's like, yeah, like these people
Why wouldn't they
have full lives and like they affect each other and like, things like that. And it makes like this minor villain like seem a little more threatening because like, oh, they killed this one guy's family. So
maybe the Jet episode is really cool because it explores the world where it's like it shows like this like it's almost like it's basically saying it says something like really powerful where it's like not all Germans were Nazis like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's just
and it's like full on. Well, it's saying like
we're all basically the same. We're just under different.
Yeah.
Like just because you're under one house doesn't mean that
it's
I should be.
It's the age old.
It's like a prejudice thing. It's so cool.
It's like the age old like war is bad, and it just because you're killing just because you think you're killing the right people doesn't mean that you're necessarily right.
Because they think they're also right.
Because they also think that, and it's like you're the same.
Helpless
basically.
like people in there. There's lots of innocent people in their town. Like Sokka basically helps like evacuate an entire Fire Nation town.
Yeah, because they were just regular people.
Yeah.
And that's like a large part of Zuko's journey on in season 2 is he sees like just how the rest of the world is, and it's like, oh wait, these are just regular people that like hate us because we're a bunch of assholes. Because like
he's like, are we the bad guys?
He's like, wait a minute, are we the bad guys?
Yeah.
He's been fed the lie all his life that the Fire Nation is so great, we're gonna share our greatness with the rest of the world by like taking them over and stuff. It's like they don't want that. Yeah. No one wants that. And like in that moment, one of the best moments, like every Zuko moment in that season is great, but one of the best moments is when they stay at like this one family's house that was just nice to them, and he's talking to this girl, and she's like, I see that the Fire Nation has hurt you, and she like refers to a scar, and she's like, yeah, they burned me, they hurt me as well, and she lifts up her pant leg and she has like a burn mark.
And it's like the same like
on,
coloring.
Yeah, on the leg.
The same color.
And he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, maybe we're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a regular civilian who's been hurt by some ass.
I saw like a full like
just
analysis video on that one scene where it's like,
oh really?
Yeah, where it's like, oh it's like they're like, oh yeah, so like Fire Lord Ozai is like kind of based off of it's almost like based off like this one dynasty or whatever, and they were known for like it's like and they like this like group of people or whatever like went out and like raped and pillaged a whole bunch. And like the burn mark was like super high up her leg, so like this girl was probably raped.
Right, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's like, a good point.
Yeah,
it's an awkward. Because it's an awkward place for a burn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I know it's a kids show, but like they're like they just kind of threw that as like a historical nod.
Yeah, they're touching on real shit.
Yeah,
and that's why Avatar's so great. It's a kids show, but like anyone can watch it because it's just amazing storytelling. It's still the greatest, at least American animated show of all time, in my opinion. And it's just like because it's a combination of the best things.
No, it's just everything, and it's such a unique universe.
Yeah, like it's such a it's like it's basically like Eastern philosophy, but like with Western storytelling, where you have like. It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
It's got the principles of honor.
But all the themes are like like balance and the theme
and like pacifism. Like Aang's like a huge pacifist.
Pacifism
doesn't
over
really like
violence and
his fighting style is running away from the enemy and like countering. Like that's he's almost never aggressive, which is why earthbending is so hard for him.
Yeah,
earthbending is very like
because you just have to punch stuff.
Punch it.
And like the whole idea of like the 4 elements, and also like they're all based on different martial arts techniques as well. Like that's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, like one of the other things I've noticed this rewatch of the series is there's this constant theme of the importance of fun, Because when Aang first shows up, like all he wants to do is just like hang out and have fun and go penguin sledding and like ride a giant koi fish and like shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's what like leads people to hope again. Is remembering like just to have fun, because like he came from this time where there wasn't a war, and where he could just hang out and be free
in all different nations.
In all different nations.
Traveled the world pretty much.
Yeah,
a lot of the world.
And so like when he comes across these people who have been shit on for 100 years, he's like, hey guys, let's just like, have a dance. Let's just do Footloose, or like, hey, let's
Footloose for an episode.
Hey, let's go to this thing. Let's go to Avatar Day. That'll be fun. And like, he's so optimistic about like everything.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go to Mashu, just not to like learn earthbending, but just to ride the slides there.
The slides there that aren't even slides. It's just they're like delivery system.
Mailings. It's their post office basically.
Let's ride around in the Boston in the Omashu post office.
Yeah.
Because my friend and I used to do that.
Yeah.
It's like
and that's what like that mentality is like what brings hope to so many people. Like, oh yeah, we can have fun again and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And,
like the Boomy episode is a great episode also.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Where basically it's like you don't know, it's or like he has to like think differently for all the different challenges.
Yeah, he has to think outside the box and stuff. And that's another thing cool is there's always like his thing is he's always gonna come up with the most like righteous solution to things, like the most pacifist solution, and it's like maybe we can come to a compromise here. Like how can we solve this problem? Like what if we think outside the box? Like how do I defeat the Fire Lord without killing him? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like so important to his character, and that's like what makes him such an effective like protagonist and stuff too. Yeah, Avatar's a great show. Basically.
Yeah, which kind of reminds me of Finger Strings. Bringing it back.
Oh, okay, bring it back. Connection.
What was okay?
Segue.
You know how Elle basically learned that like if you get pissed off enough, you can just be really strong.
Yeah.
What's the point of that? Like, is that?
I don't know.
Isn't that weird? Like,
it's weird. Okay.
Because it's just like, no, yeah, just get angry, and that's the right way to do it.
It's weird.
Because it's not Rage and Serenity. It's just
because it's different than Rage and Serenity, right?
Yeah.
And it's different than the Force as well. Because those are the two main comparisons, right?
Yeah.
It's like
she
has this power,
about, like being calm and just not overthinking.
But on the dark side is just use rage.
So I thought she was
getting angry.
I thought she was gonna put together that like love was stronger than.
Yeah.
But she doesn't.
She just gets angry and then fixes the problem.
No.
So that's kind of weird. Like, maybe that's something that they set up intentionally, and for the third season they're like gonna develop that. Yeah. But it's just because in just every other story, that's what we think is how it's supposed to go. Because in X-Men First Class, it's like at first it's like the
it's just pure rage. So
Kevin Bacon's like, oh, I get it. Rage is what fuels your powers. So you just need to get angry enough, and then you can do anything.
That's like
but then when he meets Xavier, which is true to an extent, then when he meets Xavier, he's like, no, actually you can focus lies somewhere between rage and serenity. You need to have this calm of mind as well to be able to focus that passion, right?
Yeah.
And that's what he does, and that's why he's able to move the satellite. That's why he's able to lift the sub.
Yeah.
And
that's why Luke can move the X-1.
That's why Luke can't move the X. And it's the same thing because he doesn't have the patience and the calm of mind, the faith.
Yeah.
In this all powerful.
No, she just gets pissed off.
You just get pissed off enough, and then you can move the thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it is like First Class, and we're still in that first act of learning the power. So like she's gonna become even more powerful once she learns that if what's actually stronger is love, or what's actually stronger is this calm of mind and this focus.
Like what if think about
this season or whatever
season two finger strings, right? Like think about this. At the end of that, they're like, oh, the shadow monster is still a thing.
Yeah.
So season 3, basically, there's other finger strings going on during the season, but they're like they know for sure that this shadow monster is going to come back.
Right.
And it's basically, and it's not just going to be like a weird apparition. Like it's going to actually come into the physical world.
Yeah, it's gonna. That's its next.
That's its move, right? Next move, right? So then there should be a point where it should happen early in the season, see, like episode 2 or 3 or something. It just breaks out, like it straight up just gets out,
right?
And Elle tries to fight it with rage,
but fails.
But it doesn't work, and she's like, "Well, shit!" And then it goes and like destroys an entire city. Not Hawkins per se, but like it goes and destroys something. Destroys a big city or whatever. Destroys a big old city, and then she's like, "Well, shit! I clearly am not strong enough to do this. We need to start assembling the other people with powers. So we can do it, right?" And then like maybe she meets, and then like she'll meet one that's like, "Oh no, it's not rage. Like I thought it was for years, but it's actually this other thing."
Yeah.
Right, and then you can develop other characters through that, and then I don't know what to do with the other stories. Like that's just one story.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that idea because that's the main thing I would want to see from season 3 is. Okay, we've met 8 and we've met 11.
And what if there was?
Is there more?
And
right?
What,
and also, like, what happens to 8?
Also, not all of them have to be good. There can be like.
Well, yeah, villains. Like 8's kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah, but no, you have one that's a straight up villain.
You could have one that's you could have one that's just a villain, right?
I don't know. Maybe that's just the Darth Vader idea, but like I just think that'd be really cool if it's just like you finally met your match, like.
Yeah.
It's like 11 can do anything except, oh wait, there's another one that's just as strong. Like, different ability, but like, is basically just as strong.
Or stronger, too. Like,
that's the other thing you do for villains, and like, maybe they're like immune to rage or something. Those are my 2 ideas for how to tie, to make her realize that rage isn't actually the correct way. Or in this season, if you didn't want to have another season, you could have just had her been like, she's like trying to close the thing or whatever, and then she like can't. She's like Hopper, I can't freaking do this. Like this mess. I thought like I'm getting super mad, and that's what unlocks my power. And then he's like, well, maybe don't try getting mad, right? And then then she's like, oh, all right, like just like, and then she like does the Harry Potter 5 thing.
Right, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm stronger than you, Voldemort, because I have love in my heart.
It's like you can't fight. He's like, you can't fight darkness with rage. Like that doesn't work. Like you're basically running from your problems.
I find that that positive reinforcement is 10 times stronger than negative reinforcement, or something like that. I forget what it is in Inception, but it's the same idea where it's like we can't just make him hate his dad. We gotta make him feel positive emotion, like love and stuff. And that be the reason that he decides to do the thing we want him to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if they need to find a way to do that in the next season.
Yeah, or like they're just like, fuck it, we don't care about the regular tropes. We want to do our own thing, which is fair, but it's weird.
But if that's what they want to do, turn Elle evil,
then make her a villain too. Yeah, because
make her the villain.
I guess because it's like she's basically E.T. plus Carrie, right?
Yeah, like Carrie goes evil.
Carrie turns evil at the end
kills a bunch
because of like rage and stuff like that. Where E.T. is good because of like love, right? Those are, I mean, like that's a Donnie Darko oversimplification of emotion.
Yeah,
but that's kind of generally like what happens to characters.
Yeah,
like at least in
it's like dark side, light side. Like
the dark side is the light side.
Yeah.
Darth Vader learns that the light side is actually stronger, and he's able to kill Palpatine.
Yeah,
like it's the same thing.
Yeah, in every story.
That's why like
it's so weird. Like it would be cool to see her turn bad.
Yeah, like that could be an interesting thing to do,
and to have like Mike be the one that kills her would be so heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, that would be
amazing.
That'd be even sadder. Like earlier, you were saying like, wouldn't it be interesting if like Elle was dead?
Yeah,
and then this season was about Mike
having to deal with
that. because that would be a really
the next
hard
season. You could have LB
thing for
evil
Mike to
and
do.
Mike have to deal with it, but I feel like they're not going to do that. I feel like story, like for the sake of fan service and like, oh, I love that couple. Oh, they're such a good couple.
Yeah, I think there is.
Oh, I'm a normie who likes my freaking normie culture and my couples.
I do think that's
my ships and my fictional romances. So you can't touch that.
Yeah, I do think
dare break those two up because those kids are adorable.
I do think that's an aspect of this show. Because
which is why I don't think they'll have the balls to turn her evil.
No,
and have Mike kill her.
I'll agree with you on that. I don't think they're going to do that. I do would want to see it. I would want to see it.
That would be really cool. There's a lot of different things to do at this point.
Yeah, like it is a cool concept, and there's lots of different things they could do in this universe too. Like we know that there's like people with superpowers. So I
want to see more. Like
let's explore that more. Like
there's a cult of them.
Like they even mentioned in this, like, oh, what if the Russians tried to do this? Maybe the Russians have a bunch of superpowered kids. Like we don't know.
Maybe imagine that for an intro. Is like no. It's like you hear some random Russian people yelling and talking in Russian and stuff, and they're in a lab, and you see some similar stuff kind of happening.
Yeah.
It's not. There's like someone strapped to a table. It could be a little boy. Let's just say it's a girl for the sake of whatever. So there's like a girl. It's just easier to talk about. So there's a girl strapped to the table, and she's got the weird head thing on, and then they're like, oh, look at these levels and stuff. Look at that. Isn't that weird? And then, and she's also 11, but she's Russian.
But she's Russian.
So it's like 11, and there's like a hammer and sickle next to it.
What I was thinking is it was going to be the same scene from the opening of this season.
Yeah.
But it's in Moscow.
Yeah.
And there's like Russian people. They rob a bank or whatever, and they get in the car. They're getting chased by the Russian police, and they go through Moscow. And then one goes like, "Hey, buddy, do something!" And then the guy like does something to stop the police from chasing them. Maybe they have a different power or something.
Yeah.
And then it does the thing where they wipe the blood away, and then you see the number, but it's a Russian number, and it's like, whoa!
And then the intro is the same, but it's in Russian. The words are in Russian.
Yeah, it's like a Russian font. Like,
and then when the 3 shows up, it turns back into English.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Okay. Here's another question I've been thinking. Yeah. So we have Stranger Things.
We've gone for about an hour.
We've gone over an hour. That's fine. We haven't done one in a while, so we need to. This will be a longer one.
This will be 10 episodes later, though. Oh well.
Right. It's fine. So we've seen Finger Strangs. We've seen Finger Strangs season 2. We've seen Super 8. We've seen It.
Yeah.
What's the best of the new age 80s nostalgia? Kids go on an adventure, sci-fi, fantasy things.
Stranger Things season 1.
Yeah, I think you're correct about that.
That's the correct
answer. I do.
That's an opinionated question.
That's an opinionated question.
Yeah.
But what about it about this like genre, or like why is this genre like booming now? Like why is there so many like?
Well, I think we've had
Stephen King.
We've had a conversation
influenced and stuff like.
It's because kids in the 80s weren't on a leash. So they could just kind of do things.
They could go on adventures.
They could go on adventures.
Yeah.
So, and adventures is story. So like, basically, conflict is story.
Right.
And kids nowadays are basically raised to have as little conflict in their life as possible.
True.
Because, I'm not saying conflict is a good thing. I'm saying it's a good thing for storytelling, but it's not a good thing in real life.
Yeah, it's not necessarily.
So basically, as we've gotten older, there's been so many new systems put in place to reduce conflict to a point where it's almost like it's kind of hurting my brain a lot of the time. Where it's like I'm so frustrated with how many things where it's like this happens a lot where it's like, oh, this. Like this person's associated with this, so you can't like anything by them. It's like an artist usually, where it's like
Bill
Cosby was accused of this, but
so
you're not allowed to like his comedy.
You're not allowed to like
John Tron is kind of
maybe racist.
Expressed a political opinion.
So
it's not right or wrong.
So you can't think his videos
are funny or watch them, and it's like stop, stop.
I think
I'm gonna like what I want to like.
I think it has to do with like
I don't condone those things. I just like things that are funny. Okay.
Yeah, like how
it's just getting so frustrating.
I think it has to do with like how offended people get nowadays.
Yeah, I think there's just people feel as if the world is obligated to make them comfortable.
To make them at a comfort.
It's not. The world has never been that way.
No, and
I'm not saying that everyone should be slaves. I'm saying that people sometimes just need to suck it up. If it's not hurting you, then shut up.
Yeah. There's certain things. There's a line. There's a line
where it's like okay, you're literally a white supremacist.
Yes,
you need to stop.
You need to stop.
You're wearing a costume on Halloween. Oh, that's not a line. Like that's
who
fine.
Cares?
Who cares? No one. Because like there are some schools that do like Black and Orange Spirit Day and stuff because some religions want to celebrate
Halloween and stuff like that. It's like but
you don't have
schools
to participate.
You're not obligated to participate in schools doing Halloween. Isn't okay, everyone. We're gonna summon some demons.
No,
it's just like we're gonna eat candy and dress up in costumes. If you don't want to do that, that's fine.
They might as well. You know what? Schools,
that's all we're gonna do.
Should just call it Dress Up and Eat Candy Day because that would avoid so much stigma.
That's true. But like, no, that's a dumb argument. I was gonna say.
Well, like DCAT or something. Like that.
Dress Up and Eat Candy Day. I don't know
DCAT.
That
dress
acronym.
So DCAT. Dress up.
Eat candy.
Eat.
There's a lot of vowels in a row there. Dress up and eat candy.
So you do dress up as like one word. So it's like D, E is eat candy, C-A, you do candy as C-A, D, because then it's just easier to say DCAT, because I don't want to say dress up and eat candy day. Because then people, if you just call it dress up and eat candy day, people will call it Halloween.
Hey, you're taking the hell out of Halloween there, buddy.
People will just call it Halloween if you don't have a 2 to 3 syllable acronym for it. Or a 1 to 3 syllable acronym.
But I don't want to rename Halloween. There's nothing wrong with Halloween.
No, it's just for schools. This is just for schools. Because if
but
for schools, no. But if you,
but it's the same as calling it Black and Orange Day.
There's a stigma around the word. I'm just saying to do. It's like, how do you do Halloween without doing Halloween? This is how you do it. But basically, I think like people these days need to have a thicker skin.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I find I'm not really offended by anything.
Like, but typical for coming from a white straight Christian, cisgendered male.
But Danny, think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Think about this. That there are.
You never needed to be offended.
Shut up! You're literally everything wrong with the internet.
I know.
But the problem with that is that you're racial profiling. You're literally saying that there's something inherently wrong with me because of my race and my gender.
There is. You're blonde.
Yeah. So I think it's just as bad.
It's
almost like a reverse. It's like you're on the opposite end. The opposite end of the spectrum is made better because you hate a bunch of people for no reason. The same way that people on the other end of the same spectrum hate a bunch of people for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. And
so it's just frustrating. Like,
oh, there's this great. Okay, do you know NerdSync? They do like comic book videos and stuff. They do like comic misconceptions.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so they did this video recently about this Superman radio episode from like the 50s.
Yeah.
And it's relevant today because the world's fucked up. It was like Superman versus the KKK was the episode basically, and it's brilliant. Like the episode holds up.
That's so funny.
Because like he just like mostly like explained like what happens in the episode and like played clips from it and stuff. Yeah. And like the best part about it is like they don't take down like the way they defeat like the KKK's like ideologies and stuff is like just brilliant because like so the whole time like there's this guy who's a member of like the KKK who's trying to get at this like Chinese kid because the KKK are just assholes and
And at the end of it, this guy is in a conversation with the like leader of the KKK, and he's like, "Hey, we gotta like get this Chinese guy because he's lesser than us and stuff like that. We're white and we're great and stuff." And then the guy in charge of KKK is like, "Wait, what? You actually believe all this stuff? You know, it's just bullshit propaganda, right? You're like, we literally just do this to like sell white robes and stuff. Like, it has not like what you actually think that." Because you're white, you're better than anyone else. That's completely nonsense. You buy into that? I thought you were like a respectable guy. Like, that's complete nonsense. We do that just to make money. Like it has nothing to do. And it was like, that's genius because it's like, it's the perfect way to say like not attack like the people.
Yeah.
Doing it, but like just the idea that someone is better than someone else because of their race or their gender or anything is absurd.
Yeah.
And the only people that would think that are suckers because they buy into some assholes like
ideology.
Scheme.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? And it's like and it was from the 50s too, so it was like
brilliant.
It was like it's not ahead of its time. Like that's the thing. Like I was gonna say it's way ahead of its time, but it's not. It's like yeah, we knew that in the 50s. Why is this still an issue now?
Yeah. No, it's just there is a thing where it's like I feel like people get like this is weird blend of people like getting offended too much, and then there's also like really fucked up shit that goes on in the States. And it's like why is Donald Trump still in power? Like
it's such a crazy world that we're in for some reason.
I think the only reason is red tape. Like that's it. Like that's the only reason he's still in power is because we put in all this red tape.
Right, because we never thought we would need to get rid of the guy we put in charge. Because we thought, well, if we vote for who we think is best, we'll pick someone who's good at it.
He's got the lowest approval rating.
But
he's
it's
got
like
13%.
Whoops, we didn't.
Which is still
good job.
13% approval rating, which is still too high, in my opinion.
13, yeah, that's low.
It's like
that's way lower than most presidents.
There's as many people that approve of Donald Trump as there are in the LGBT community.
Yeah.
Which is too many.
There's too many people in the LGBT
There's too many people that approve of Donald Trump. I'm just saying it's a comparable ratio.
Yeah. That's weird.
It's something like that. It might be like 15%. I don't know. I just know it's low.
No, yeah. It's gotta be.
Yeah, for sure.
But, man, like, what a fucking...
Yeah,
crazy world.
So Stranger Things is pretty good.
Sorry to get super political.
Yeah.
Even though that's not something we're
against. What was the first question?
The first question was, why don't we have shows like Stranger Things that take place today?
Because today is too fucked up. That's why.
We need to go back.
Things were simpler.
We need to get...
Kids got hurt.
Kids were allowed to get hurt back then?
They were allowed to learn. They were, like, from their own mistakes instead of from the mistakes of their parents.
That's true.
Being forced on them. Right?
Yeah, like that was a thing they mentioned in one of the behind the scenes videos. Is they're like, yeah, like back in our day, we could just hang out with our friends all day, and our parents had no idea where we were, and it was just like whatever. Like
if I did that,
didn't matter.
Like today, if I feel like if I had done that growing up in Kitchener. Just hung out with my friends outside or whatever, done similar things, roller bikes places. I probably would have been fine. Crime isn't really a thing. Like it's not. In Canada, I feel like in safe neighborhoods it's okay to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you're not gonna get jumped by someone random if you're just a kid. You don't have any money. Like it's not.
I think that's another thing that's part of today's society is like I don't think people believe in a safe neighborhood anymore.
No.
Like. Okay, so here's a story from life experience. I was hanging out with my girlfriend at the time when I was dating.
She shall not be named. The one girl
that I've dated.
Yeah.
And I just pulled out Pokemon Go and I started playing it on my phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, "How dare you play that game?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I know, I've heard so many stories of kids that have been lured into, like, like pedophiles and stuff like that because of that game, and like how dare you play that game? Like that's there's so many like bad things around that game, like so many bad people that play that game and like stuff like that. And I'm like,
I'm not a kid or a bad person.
It's just a game. I was just playing it because I thought it might be fun.
Yeah.
Like, and I had no intention
there was a
supporting bad people or like trying to lure kids into fucking shitty situations. I thought it would just be fun to try to catch some that thought never occurred to me that like, oh, like this is a game that's been used for bad situations and stuff and that very well may be true. I don't know because I don't really look into those kinds of statistics because I don't want to feel shitty about the world all the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do.
No. I got...
And my ex-girlfriend was one of those people that's just like constantly like watching the news and looking at like those kinds of things and like
no, I don't even believe the news
world
nowadays. Like I don't watch it or I don't believe in it because of how much shit is passed around.
Yeah, there's
or like it's just like I'm like, is that real? It's like there's things where it's like oh, fight for this cause. It's like I don't know if that cause is real. I don't know if I like type my name to a thing if that's even gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll be like, well, yeah, sure, maybe I'll just do it because nothing happens. That's fine. But if something happens, something will happen. So like I have nothing to lose here. So I'll usually just sign whatever, right? But like I don't genuinely think I'm doing anything.
Right.
A lot of the time. Like, just today, you were saying something like that. Like, I got a message from one of my friends from high school, and she's like, watch this video, share it, like crazy, because this is messed up. I'm uninstalling Facebook Messenger on my phone because of this. And it's like a news report where they're like, yeah, so basically Messenger has access to your camera and your microphone, and basically, like, people can, like, hack into that and see through your camera on your phone and your microphone on your phone. I'm like, well, what else is new? Like, my phone is a SIM card in it. Of course you can hack it. Yeah. Like, it's not... It wasn't news to me. I'm like, I've been living under this awareness for a long time.
The government's already, like, hacked into everything you own.
And I have nothing to hide. Yeah. I don't commit crimes. Well, we did commit a crime today, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, we just...
wasn't that bad.
It was just minor arson.
No one got hurt.
We cleaned it up.
The only things we damaged were our own things and the environment slightly.
Just a little bit. Not as much as the government, so it's fine.
That's fine.
But basically the point of the story is that I don't care. Like, it's just like, it's all things that I already knew were happening. Like, you basically, like, you know how, like, laptops, like, you should put, like, you've heard about, like, how you should put a little piece of tape on your camera on your laptop, like, on the front. Like,
so that people can't
like, hack into it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I heard that back when webcams first came out.
Yeah.
And like I didn't
that was an add-on to a computer.
Yeah.
I remember that era.
Remember when Facebook was like evil? Do you remember that? You know, like in grade 5, when like police would come to your school and teach you about how, okay, kids, there's this thing called Facebook out there, and you got to really be careful because there's a lot of fucking pedophiles out there, and if you use Facebook, you're gonna get raped and killed. So don't use Facebook, kids. Remember that.
They did that.
It's against the law, anyways. You guys are what, like 10, 11? Facebook, you have to be at least 13 or something, so don't use Facebook, kids.
No, but Dan, they did that because I've heard of stories of, like, not just, like, it's not about the like, raping and the killing stories. It's just about the fact that kids at that age just don't know how to be subtle on the internet.
Yeah. I agree with you.
And
I think that's why that was, like...
Someone who goes to this college, I've heard about it, she was telling us about her cousin, and, she was saying that that her cousin who's like 11 has been like messaging someone random on the internet who claims to be 13 and from like Quebec or something like that. Right. Where it's like, that's shady as fuck. Yeah. And you were way too young to be doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like you do need. So basically, the idea and it's so easy for kids to just, yeah, sure, I was born in 1990. Like that's not a hard thing to do. Yeah, you just pick the right age.
You just click what the age.
So it's just so easy. So to say like you're literally too young to use it. It's just like wait till you're 13. Like that's basically what they're saying because there's no reason you need it when you're that young, and there's no way you're going to use it effectively. So to use scare tactics instead of saying yeah, don't touch that cookie right there.
Right.
They're like, no, that cookie's poison.
Yeah.
So like it's much more effective.
I think it is to
it gets the same point
some
across.
Types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it worked on me. Like, I didn't join Facebook until high school, and that was because, you have to, for band, just join the Facebook group.
Yeah, that was
and we'll tell you when we're meeting.
Much.
It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just make a Facebook account for that then. And then I just have one and I use it all the time. I only am friends with people that I've met in real life, and I follow all the rules that you're supposed to. And
for me, I got Facebook and Instagram because I got Facebook because the girl who I liked at the time was like, hey, you should get Facebook, then we can talk more. And I'm like, okay. And the same thing for Instagram. I'm like, okay. So that's why I got those, right? But then, those actually became important things in my life. So, the fact that I liked that girl wasn't actually a completely useless experience.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think, I was thinking about this the other day, I think one of the reasons, they don't, it doesn't feel like that's as big a thing now. Be careful on Facebook. Because you see, people who have kids on Facebook and they're always posting
Nothing
pictures.
gets political.
Yeah. Nothing Cast talks about Stranger Things and then gets political for the second hour of the podcast.
So we like to call a third act twist.
but what I was thinking is, I think part of that was just that Facebook was still new when we were young, and so scary. People didn't really know how to use it yet, and it was still this scary new technology that we. But now, it's so a part of everyone's life that we just know how to use it properly now.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not this threatening, scary, someone's gonna rape you if you go on Facebook thing anymore, because we just learned what it is and how to use it properly. It's I guess it's because it's like training with something. A knife is dangerous.
Yeah.
But if you know how to use a knife, it's not going to hurt you.
Should we train kids more? Because
for Facebook and
for
just life things.
Yeah. Because there's this great bit in To Kill a Mockingbird where it's oh, Jam, were you playing with cards? And then he's like, no, sir, just matches.
Right.
And it's
because
and then you're just
at that time,
holy crap!
That's a cool idea. Because at that time, gambling was such a taboo.
Cards were associated with gambling.
And cards were associated with gambling.
And something completely harmless, but then it's matches are just he use matches because he probably had to light fires to warm their house before.
Yeah.
Because he's 13.
Yeah, so they probably have campfires all the time and things like that. So matches were just a regular, everyday object.
I feel
and so.
Because when you make things taboo, it's I feel that's when kids do the wrong thing.
I think so as well.
It's you scare them. It's either you scare them into not using it, because one or two things happen. Sorry, can I say my thing first?
Yeah, go for it.
I feel if you scare them into not using it, one of the two things happens. One, they don't use it, or two, they use it anyway, and they don't know how to use it because they're just I'm a rebel.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. So just it's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. And I was gonna say that is yeah, exactly. Either maybe they're scared enough to not ever do the thing, or they are gonna do the thing because it's taboo and scary and stuff. But they're gonna fuck it up because they don't know how. They're the only one learning. They have to teach themselves how to not cut themselves
kids how to use knives
or how to
pretty early. Teach kids how to use how to use knives early. Teach kids how to use matches. I'm not a parent. I've never been a parent, but that's what I feel I might do that.
Yeah.
It's just it'll make it.
Yeah, I don't want to criticize anyone's parenting method or anything, but I think that there is a lot of benefit to teaching kids how to use stuff that is potentially dangerous properly, so that they don't do it dangerously.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, it's kind of the age old thing, if you tell a kid not to burn them, don't touch the stove because it's hot, you're not going to get it. But if they touch the stove and burn themselves, then they're going to learn, the stove is hot.
But if you show a kid, if you guide, Instead, though, we're almost offering a third option where you like take the kid's hand, move it close to the stove so they feel it's hot, and then you say, and then they get it right. So then you move it away, and then you give them oven mitts, and you say, "This is how you use oven mitts."
Yeah.
I guess we're just saying the third option because it's much better.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing. Also, going back to the idea of like, hey, why don't we have more stories about like kids going on adventures and stuff?
Kids don't go on adventures.
Because
everything's on a phone.
Everything's on a phone, but also like
social media is less.
There's that great shot in all of the '80s stuff where there's the kids riding on the bike. Yeah. Bikes going to adventures.
Kids don't ride on bikes anymore.
Even if they do, they have to wear a helmet, so that shot is less exciting. Like there's already an element of
safety first.
There's already a safety net in the initial starting point of let's go on an adventure, guys. Remember your helmets. Like even that is already like you already kind of ruins that. It's like if when they're Luke and Han are getting on the Millennium Falcon and the stormtroopers are shooting them and they gotta take off. Han, guys,
put on our seatbelts.
Guys, we gotta remember to put your seatbelts on.
Wait, guys, I gotta check the rear view mirrors. I
gotta
adjust the side mirrors.
And then they're dead because they've been killed by stormtroopers.
Hands on 10 and 2. I'm so ready to drive this thing. Chewy, pick a good playlist, but nothing too crazy. I don't want to inhibit my driving ability.
Chewy, pass the aux cord.
Chewy.
Let me get out my phone and Google Maps this Alderaan place.
What the hell? It's supposed to be right here. It says so on my Google Maps. Can we just make 2017 like Star Wars 2017 edition?
I feel like that's a sketch somewhere.
That's already that's already a thing. Oh well.
Do you have anything else to add about Stranger Things or politics?
Pass the aux cord, Chewy. That needs to be the title of this episode. And people are just like, where the hell did that even come from?
Well, it's not going to be finger strings. It's
no, finger strings, colon, pass the aux cord, Chewy. Chewy. I think we're good.
All right,
we're
I
done.
think we killed this. Nothing else for us.
We're done.
That's it.